Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. On this episode of Barbie Basics, I'm going to be talking about brows and all things involving them, where to place them, how to do them, what color to choose, and all of that, so stay tuned. So there's a lot of things to talk about when it comes to brows. The first thing I kind of want to touch on is where you place them on your face before I get into colors and things like that. Brows are a very personal thing for each person. Everyone likes to do their brows a certain way. I do mine differently than probably everyone else around there, but I'm going to talk about what works for me and what I know as a certified makeup artist. For placing your brows on your face, of course you're going to want to put them above your eyes, but there's specifics to that. Usually you want to start the front of your brow right where, if you were to take like a brush, you kind of want to go right there, right where your brow starts, and then you're going to go across from where your pupil is for your arch, and then kind of from the corner of your eye up for where you end your brow. Some people like to go straight with their brows, some people like to really bring it down. It really is personal preference, but from an esthetician standpoint, that's where you would place your brows. For me, I kind of like to flatten my brow out a little more, but that is all personal preference, and that kind of goes into with what you use for your brows. The first thing I would think of when picking a brow product is really your hair color and what look you're trying to achieve. For me, I am blonde, but I do have naturally a brunette, like super dark hair color, so a blonde eyebrow really doesn't work with what my actual eyebrow color is, so I choose something in between. My favorite products for brows are actually this Goof Proof brow pencil from Benefit. I use shade 3.5. The 0.5 means it's more of a neutral color. I don't like a warm brow, and I feel like if your hair is warm you can pull it off, but if your hair is more of a neutral or a blonde, neutral is the best way to go. So this is what I use for that. In the past I've used pomades and powders. It's all a personal preference. They're all going to achieve different looks. For me, I like the look of a pencil. There's so many different brow products. A pencil I feel like is just the easiest to maneuver and figure out. So if you're just starting, that's a great way to start, as well as a powder. So brow powders, they come in a lot of different shades. It all depends on the line you're looking for, but that's going to give you a more natural like finish, whereas the pencil is going to be more defined. The most defined brow you're going to get from a pomade. This is the Anastasia. Everyone knows these. The brow pomades, they kind of like took over the world when they came out. A pomade's going to be way more pigmented. You're going to need to have a lot of control to pull this off. Usually with those, I like to go in with an angled brush and draw the outline with it, and then try and make hair-like strokes with the pomade. Kind of hard to do, but if you have that precision and a really good angled brush, it's doable. But for me, I prefer a pencil, and then I like to go in with this Urban Decay Brow Blade. This is a neutral Nana. I've had like every color of this. The cool part about this is it is a pencil on one side, which I never use because I like the Goof Proof, and then this is like almost like a liquid eyeliner. I draw hairs in with this. That has been revolutionary for my brows. I 10 out of 10 recommend these. And then after I do that, I like to go through and blend everything together with a brow gel. Brow gels are another way to do brows. You can just use a colored brow gel if you wanted to, just to kind of define them if you already have a fuller brow. For me, I do have some sparsity, so I do like to fill them in, but a clear brow gel is great for everyone because it blends everything together and it leaves them staying in place because you don't want your hairs all going crazy at the end of the day. So this one I found is my favorite. It almost like hardens my brows so they don't move. This stuff is bomb, so thanks Anastasia for that. When it comes to brows, you really have to know what look you're going to go for, what you want, and what product to use to achieve that. So picking the right color, picking the right product, and then placing them is all important into having a perfect brow. I like to brush the brow up and out. So beauty. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to take is my Goof Proof brow pencil. I've already combed through my brows. I'm going to start with making a line underneath my eyebrow from the front to the tail. So I usually like to start in the middle and then connect from there. Very precision. It helps that I already have a pretty good brow shape, so I'm just kind of going with what my natural shape is and then filling in from there. And I just like to brush it up and through, and then I go from the top. So I kind of want to see where my natural hair is going and kind of fill in where it is lacking. So in here you can kind of see I'm a little sparse. Brush it through, make sure it looks good. And then This is always the hard part, is the tail, getting it crisp. Those look about even. See the shape? And then I put that guy down, and then I go in with my ink stain, and I'm drawing hairs. So I'm kind of going up from the line I created and just kind of draw in hair. Getting the ones in the front crisp is kind of the hard part. Sometimes I'll tap like my finger on them to remove some of the product because it can be like pretty dark in some places and I don't want that. So that's what I was doing there. And then anywhere else that I feel like I need a little more, I could probably use a couple more hairs right in the front. Tap off that excess because they're pretty dark. And then I go through with the clear brow gel from Anastasia, and I just run this through my whole brow just to marry everything together. I like when it has that little extra tidbit at the front because that means I'm getting a lot of product. And gosh no, we love a lot of product. I like to run it through the front so they stay straight up. I'm gonna add one more hair. Now's the time you can adjust. And then I like to sometimes take this underneath and just make her crisp. So I made it really crisp in the front with the ink stain, and now I'm gonna go in with my concealer and just kind of clean away anything that's not in place. So I'll take that on the back of my hand and then go in with my concealer brush, which I always conveniently lose. One time I had a full-blown panic attack over losing my concealer brush, and I cried. Then I found it. Everything was fine, but I really cried. This is just my NARS concealer. I'm kind of just like grabbing my brush in it in that sort of motion, kind of pulling the product onto the brush instead of like dabbing in. That way it's like fully loaded so you can get a better surface. And then I always start with the tail because that kind of is the base for where everything goes, and then I go towards the front. I always raise my eyebrows when I do this. And then if I want more crisp, I'll grab more product and I will go from the line I created down. And then I take my little pinky and I tap it out. Bam! A brow. Sometimes I'll go through with a powder and just kind of set that area. Brows. Done. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Barbie Basics. Next week's episode is going to be on liner, lashes, and lips, so make sure you subscribe so you can stay tuned for that. Leave me a comment down below and follow me on my social media, and we'll see you next week. Bye! Is this an outro?
This is an outro.
I was like, hi guys, welcome back.